Oh, there it is.
Okay, since this is a really long agenda,
You're awful close.
I know,
By the end of
let's
every
keep
meeting,
all
I'm shorter
comments
than you.
extremely pithy tonight. This is a
So
long
I'm start
agenda.
here and then walk over.
Well,
Not,
If that one's because I'm trying to get them out of
Oh,
here.
yeah,
we'll see about that. You have, I have my notes.
You want this
Okay.
I don't know why you need notes,
No,
this is really straightforward.
It's probably.
Hey, Zach, I can't win, man.
You're not, on this night, you're not.
Got a minute left. Let's get ready to govern. Oh, it's upside
I
down.
got 2 waters.
How is it upside down?
It's my name's written on it.
You want one, you have one.
What's it? Oh,
What
Think
will
I'm making this
I
up?
miss least? I did think you were making it up, actually.
Yeah, the gavel is a critical tool in municipal governance.
it's like a wrench. It has a certain side you have to use.
Yeah.
What?
This side squeaks. This side doesn't.
Please don't.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We'll be starting in just a few moments. 10 moments, actually, 10 seconds.
10 minutes.
I see moments and seconds as synonymous. All right. I'll now call to order this meeting of the City of White House Council for today, September the 24th, 2024. It is 6 p.m. Ms. Hargis, will you please call the roll?
James Wansley,
Here.
Zach Briscoe,
Here.
Georgia Harris,
Here.
John Chambers,
Here.
Michael Lowe,
Here.
and Matt Lazarine.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Excellent. Please stand as you're able and join Councilman Lowe as he leads us in a word of prayer.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for yet another day that we're able to serve Thee. Thank you for letting us be able to serve our community and help us to make the right decisions. Bless our staff, bless our councilmen and our citizens, and be with us as we go from day to day. Forgive us our sins. In Jesus' name, amen.
Please join the council in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Man, that always sounds great with a full house. Thank you so much. Please be seated. All right, that takes us down to item D, presentations. We have a presentation from Eagle Scout Project presenter Landon Beaton. If you'd please come up to the podium and state your name and let us hear what you have to say.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Landon Beaton, and I'm a sophomore in high school, and this is going to my Eagle project for Troop 359. It is going to be on Veterans Day at the Veterans Day Memorial at 6:30 p.m. We're going to be having a stadium, the audience is going to be where the trees were removed. We have an old picture right there, that's the green. Our green is where the audience is going to be, the red's the stage, the orange is going to be our burn barrels, so where we're going to do our retirements, and then the 2 red dots on the side are going to be our flags. Those who are involved is going to be Scout Troop 359 and Pack Scout 359. Attendance is going to be White House Community at Large, the VFW Post 1799. We're going to reach out to them, see if we can get them there. We're also going to have the Youth Committee Council, the Public Service Departments, and other veteran-aligned organizations. Our tentative event program, we're going to start with our welcome, then our opening flag ceremony by the Troop 359 Honor Guards, then our introduction. We're also going to recognize any veterans in the audience, going by down all the
Branches?
branches, yes, thank you. We're going to have our guest speaker there. We're also going to have a flag retirement ceremony. We're also going to allow any veterans that choose to be involved in the flag retirement ceremony. Any questions?
Are these the flags that we've been collecting in the box over here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good deal.
Good.
Good idea.
And I would imagine you guys have a lot of those. I see it getting
Yes,
emptied
sir. We
out
have
quite a bit.
Very a lot.
Yeah, I have one I need to bring by myself. So.
Be good.
How are you gonna advertise this to the community?
We're gonna make flyers, and we're also gonna post them around schools and around the city. We're also gonna reach out to Miss Hurst of Kane Elementary, so she can get in contact with veterans, since she does veteran programs every year, and she'll have those contacts.
Is your guest speaker a surprise?
Yes.
Wow. Wow, okay.
And if you are missing a contact for the VFW, I think that we have one as a part of our interagency council. Hopefully it's still current for the
Okay,
one
thank
that you need.
I'll reach out to you if I'm not able to find that.
Sure.
I can give you that.
Good deal.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Beaton.
Welcome.
All right, that takes us down to item E, community interest. Here are some items of community interest. Mrs. Black.
Mayor and council, just a reminder that next Tuesday on October 1st, the police department will be hosting their annual National Night Out right next door here at City Park. Hope you'll all join us. Keep White House Beautiful has a couple of events coming up in October. Their fall sweep and seed will be Saturday, October 12th, and their community-wide garage sale on Saturday, October 19th. The Youth Community Council will be hosting an outdoor movie in conjunction with a trunk or treat that the rec is hosting on Saturday, October 26th over at the rec. I think they're gonna be showing the Addams Family, so
Ooh.
Wow.
come out for that. And then 109 East Main Street renovations, they did pour the slab on the western edge last week before. They're continuing to do some foundation level things to even up that 18-inch flooring difference between the two buildings. They've started some framing. Plumbing rough-in is complete, and so they're making a lot of progress, doing a lot of framing on some of the areas that you can't see from the roadway, but that is underway.
I would like to add that I learned last Friday in the interagency meeting that part of Keep White House Beautiful's sweep and seed, they made seed bombs, and anyone in the public can get them from them. And fall is the time to plant wildflowers, and that's what they are. And the wildflowers are for pollinators, so bees, hummingbirds, and butterflies. So you can get some and literally throw them in your yard.
Corey is in attendance today. Feel free to get added to her list.
Yep, I loved that.
No more findings at 109?
No, sir.
All right.
We got rebar now.
That's a great report then. All right, anything else on the topic of community interest from council? All right, that takes us down to item F, public forum. I'll go ahead and read this right quick. Pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.007, members of the public may speak on an agenda item during the public forum section of the meeting or at the time the agenda item is called for by discussion by the mayor. Speakers shall be given 3 minutes to speak. A speaker needing a translator and an interpreter may be given 6 minutes to speak. Criticism of employees or city staff is prohibited. Those wishing to address the council regarding an item not on the agenda must be a citizen, property owner, or business owner of White House. Comments on such non-agenda items shall be limited to 3 minutes. The council will not comment on these items not on the agenda. However, the council may refer the item to city staff for research, resolution, or referral of the matter to council as a future agenda item. We have two people that have signed up to speak on public forum. The first one to sign up was Mr. Heath Bennett. Could you please come up and state your name and address for the record, and let us hear what you have to say.
Good evening, my name is Heath Bennett. I live at 1302 Woodland Hills here in White House. The thing I would like to address is the creek that runs from the park across our property to the other side of our property. In the past 3 years that I've lived there, it's widened out almost 10 to 15 feet in spots, as well as the bridge that runs across on the Hillcrest side, or sorry, not the Hillcrest, the Woodland Hills side of the house. That one only has one drainage pipe underneath, and it backs up and deposits and clogs all the time, causing massive amounts of backup up in through the yard or anything like that. I did email Leslie about this issue, and she's looking into it a little more, but I wanted to kind of let you guys know about it in a little more detail due to the fact that it's getting a lot worse and has been growing exponentially. And I just know with not having mineral rights, I know that it's one of those iffy subjects of taking care of and who's on responsibility. That's why I reached out and wanted to. That was what I wanted to address, thank you.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next up is DeMarcus Hawkins. If you please come up, state your name and address for the record.
My name is DeMarcus Hawkins. I live at 107 Deuce Drive, White House, Texas. And I'm coming back again. Once again, I saw that the city came and dug the little ditch out, and so it helped the drainage, but we still have the flooding problem. We haven't had any rain yet, and I'm still just gonna keep coming back to address the flooding problem on Deuce Drive. I wanna know also if, I know FEMA had came through, did FEMA offer the city any kind of kickback or anything like that? Because I know they helped out some homeowners as well, and I want to know if FEMA gave the city any kind of donations or any kind of money to help with the flooding problem. And if so, is the city going to reciprocate that and help out the people that are having flooding problems in White House? That's my question to the city council. And like I say, I'm going to keep coming back until there's something done. All we need is a proper drainage in the back, and that will help everybody out. I do believe that situation can be solved just by we all cooperating with each other and doing the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
All
Mayor,
right.
if you'd like, I can answer on the FEMA question.
You can do it in public forum or provide it to him
Okay.
in private, whichever you'd like.
I'll just go ahead and say, so the city of White House has not received any FEMA funding since some projects were identified as a result of the 2015 flooding. And those were for specific projects and specific areas within the city that were damaged due to flooding at that time. They were all projects that were identified on public property. The city does not receive any funding for projects on private property or that could be passed on to private property owners. Any funding received from FEMA that went to private property owners as a result of damage on private property that the private property owner applied for and received directly through FEMA.
Okay, thank you. All right, that is the end of public forum, Ms. Hargis? Two, okay. That takes us down to item G, the consent agenda. There are 3 items on your consent agenda, but I received a request from staff to move item 3 to be considered individually. There's a correction to be made on that one.
Okay.
So, other than that, we have approval of minutes of the city council meeting on August the 20th, 2024, and discussion, consideration, and action on an administrative services agreement and Resolution R24-0924-01, creating a 457 plan. If there's nothing in those agenda items that you'd like to discuss individually, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those approved say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. With that, those 2 items in the agenda passes. On to item 3, discussion, consideration, and action on an interlocal agreement with UT Health EMS for radio service, updating the contract and related fees. Mrs. Black.
Mayor and council, there was an error in the agenda packet. On the staff memo, it states that the cost of the contract is $5,200. That is incorrect. The amount in the contract is correct at $4,400. So staff just wanted to make you aware of that correction. We apologize for any confusion. Staff recommends approval.
All right, any questions or discussion from council? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
So I'll make a motion to approve the 5-year agreement with UT Health EMS for radio services at the cost of $4,400.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. With that, the motion carries. The agenda item passes. All right. On to item H, other action items, ordinances, resolutions, and public hearings. Number 1 is discuss consideration and action on a specific use permit application requested for a used car dealership located at 805 and 807 Highway 110 North, property of L&P Properties LP. And we're gonna have Morgan take this one, right, Ms. Morgan? Come on up here, Morgan Robertson. Could you go ahead and state your title? I think you might be new.
Yes, I'm the new permit technician. I started back in May. It's been a wonderful couple months. I've learned
so much from everyone here, so I'm very, very happy to be here.
Welcome home.
Thank you. Mayor and Council, this item addresses a specific use permit application for a used car dealership located at 805 and 807 Highway 110 North. This property is zoned as retail medium density, with which an SUP, this kind of business is allowed to operate. Just for some context, a used car dealership has operated from this location in the past, but as you know, the SUP follows the business and not the properties, which is why we had to bring the application before P&Z and council again. The city met all the legal requirements for posting and sending notice of the application. Of the mailed notices, city staff received one letter in favor of the SUP. On September 17th, the Planning and Zoning Commission voted unanimously in favor to recommend the approval of this SUP, which is why it's before you today. The property owner, LNN Properties, has authorized Tyler Bond with Texas First Auto Sales to act and speak on behalf of the applicant before the commission and council.
All right, any question for Ms. Robertson? All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'm sorry, we need a public hearing.
Oh, this is
to
the
be
public
open.
hearing item. Okay, excellent. So, we're entering into public hearing on this item, and we will enter into public hearing now. Any comments to be made during this public hearing? Anyone? All right, at the time is 6:15, which is, it was 6:14 when it started, it's ending at 6:15, public hearing is closed. All right. So without any further questions or comments from council, now I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the specific use permit application request for a used car dealership located at 805 and 807 Highway 110 North, property of the L&N Properties LP.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. All right, with that, it passes. On to item H2, discussion, consideration, and action on a funding request for Keep White House Beautiful. Ms. Edson, you signed up to speak to this item. Did you want to start by speaking?
So, Keep White House Beautiful humbly is requesting city funds, financial support.
Please step up to the mic so we can hear
Oh,
you.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, so we're requesting financial support from City of White House. Happy City is a clean and beautiful city, and last year we contributed over 1,600 volunteer hours. It is gonna be more this year, and the cost of everything keeps increasing, and we would love to have your support. I have financial documents if you need to see them with that to help make your decision.
Is that the balance sheet and the income and expense?
Yes, and I have one so far for 24 if you'd like to see that as well.
The first two were attached in our packet. We have those. If you have additional information, is that okay? We could accept those? Yeah, feel free to pass them out.
And we plan on doing the same thing next year that we've done this year, except it's our 35-year anniversary. We are planning to work with the EDC, and we're planning to work more with the community library to do more community education, as well as working on our bylaws, standing rules. We are taking money out of our savings to meet with Ms. Pam Anderson, who is a nonprofit professional. So we're basically having a day of workshop to improve ourselves so that we can run better and more efficiently.
Do you know the cost of that workshop?
$500 plus travel expenses plus no supply and lunch, so it's gonna be close to 600
Oh,
or
okay.
more, once all said and done.
And the ask is to go from 3,000 annually to 5,000 annually.
Well, we have not received
Right.
3,000 in several years.
Okay.
You used to, and that stopped, and we're requesting 5,000 just because of inflation, but, you know, we're happy. Honestly, we're happy with anything that you can help us with. Just having the city support financially is a big benefit to us.
And I may have missed this,
Visually.
I was reading a second ago, do y'all have a 2025 proposed budget?
Not yet, no, sir, we're not completed with that.
When do y'all expect y'all have that?
Well, we're hoping after the 1st of January, but if you need it sooner, we'll work on it sooner,
Councilman Lowe?
I've got my comments ready.
okay?
I like Keep White House Beautiful. I was part of you guys for about 2 years. I didn't understand some things though, and I have to represent these people out here as well as myself. So it's not just me speaking, but some of the comments I've heard. The whole idea is not to have a savings account. I mean, to like $15,000. What's the purpose in a big savings account?
That was built up before I even started, that would be a Debbie question, and I don't wanna frivolously spend that, but we do use that.
Why not?
That's been for, with the grants that we help the students with. That's what we've been using it for primarily, or any large things that the city, you know, like we were gonna take that money for the wall, the Tasca wall. We've talked about painting the park, but that's on hold, so there's a lot of things on hold, but infrastructure, anything we can help with, that's what that's there for, big capital projects. But we don't wanna just frivolously spend that, because that was something that was built up before I started, so we're being very cautious.
You know, for as much as they do for the community, it's good for them to have some operating capital in the bank, in my opinion.
It is, but I don't know why $15,000. I mean, maybe 5 or 10 or something like that, but
Well, I mean, what they're doing last year and this year is a net income of break even. So they're not building it up anymore. Like whatever
I
was
know.
in there now was built up carefully over a long period of time, and like their expenses right now are almost exceeding what they're bringing in every year.
when I was a member though, I was like, are you kidding me? 15,000 plus balance in the bank account? But like I said, I wanna know, what have y'all done this year briefly, and what do you have in plan for next year? In other words, I went out west on 346 and looked at the Welcome Center sign, the
Right.
Welcome to White House. Beautiful. And I think Keep White House Beautiful played a part in getting that.
Right.
There's nothing in front of it. It's just bare. You know, what I'm saying too is sometimes, because the weather's not gonna change here. When it's 98 degrees, it's hot. I know, I've been there. I still am. And y'all certainly don't like working out there and digging holes in 98 degree weather. Sometimes you got to just subcontract. Don't be afraid to subcontract. You know,
Right.
I mean,
But summer's not the time to plant plants either, and
Well-
we need to work with the city, because that's the city corner, so we need to have a plan in place that we
That's
work
right.
together on.
that's right.
Because we don't wanna go out and spend money on plants that we can't maintain or keep, because we're not the city gardeners. That's not our mission. And just because we had past members
Yeah.
who were retired and had master gardener licenses, does not mean we're all volunteer, we all work full-time. We're taking up our weekends to educate, that's where our focus is.
I respect every one of you
And
guys
we will be happy to
because
put
you
money out
are
of savings.
volunteers, as
So
are
have a
we
plan.
volunteers. But, you know, I just wanna see, I would like to see specific what you want to accomplish next year. That's just basic, you know, good
This is
stuff.
what we did this year,
Okay,
and basically, we're going to do pretty much the same thing, except again, 35-year anniversary celebration, work closely with EDC, work more with library to do more community education workshops, and working on our, our infrastructure as far as all the paperwork that I don't like to do, bylaws and standing rules, and to get us to where anybody can come in and fill a role, and, because right now we're all volunteer kind of going in.
I don't want to be known as, to the wording as want to destroy Keep White House Beautiful. Absolutely not. I mean, I've served hot dogs for 2 years in a row. I was a member for 2 years. I've done stuff on my own, and I love making this town beautiful. But I want specific, what are you going to do different next year? You know, are you gonna work with the city more? Because, I mean, to me, planting 4 shrubbery or 5 is not a big deal. You call a company up and get some bids and you put them in the ground, come spring, when it's cooler, you know, because, I mean, I'll plant all year round. I mean, I just put water on it when I have to. And I think been several times that I've gotten with the city, and the city's done an admirable job with irrigation, because they break down, you know, and if they're broke, we'll fix them, you know, but you know, that's what I wanted to get. So, Mayor, if you will permit me, I would like to maybe table this for the next meeting, or.
I think, let's see if there's any more conversation to be had
sure.
before you offer to table.
You know, I've been here 22 years and been a part of Keep White House Beautiful in some form or fashion, pretty much the whole 22, and I've seen a lot of really good things.
Oh,
So
yeah. Oh, yeah.
I see him as a really big partner to the city, and $5,000 in the big ask on an annual basis.
No, because I didn't even have to look at this off the top of my head. I know that every year they do the trash off. I know they do the community-wide garage sales, which are twice a year, and I know that they're about to do the sweep and seed. I know that they're at the farmers market educating. Like, they're not just there for beautification, and I think maybe that's a misconception. They're really there for education and these great events that keep us clean and looking nice. Like, I think the trash off is amazing and a template for other communities. So I've never thought of them as the people that need to make sure we look nice. And I see what you're saying, but I don't know that that's really on them necessarily.
And there's been several substantial grants that y'all did the
Yeah,
legwork to
for the
receive
city,
for
the benches.
sidewalks and benches
Yeah.
and things
Right,
like that.
from the governor's
Mhm.
community achievement awards
And I think the sidewalks along 110 were part of
and the
one of those
signs.
grants.
Yeah.
Yes,
Everybody is feeling the pinch for volunteers.
yeah.
Everybody in America, you know, everybody's busy, you know. I'm busy, everybody's busy, but, I just don't know. I didn't like hearing that we're not the city's gardeners. I know we're not the city's gardeners. Nobody's ever made y'all put anything on private property, nor, I won't like it a bit. It's for public use, but to beautify is often public things. So I never understood that.
We will be happy to work with the city and develop a plan to put plants in place that are both drought tolerant and heat
Yeah.
tolerant. And we do not mind pulling money from savings to do that, but we don't, there's a lot of changes going on right now, things that we wanna do have been on hold, so we're not really 100% sure what to do. But we're happy to sit down and have a meeting about it. I'd love to have, we spent money out of our savings pulling those bushes out, you know, because we thought nothing looks better than dead bushes.
That's right.
We're happy we had a plan,
You're right.
but the heat, now's not a good time. We have to wait, you know, till
I
probably
think a lot of
February.
that was neglect that killed the roses.
They're on city property.
Yeah, I know.
That's our job.
Well, where does their job not come in?
They're volunteers.
Yeah.
The city's responsible for maintaining our gardens that are on our property.
So
So that's our maintenance.
So
crew.
don't do any shrubbery in front of the White
No,
House
if
sign?
it's maintenance,
Well,
then
where
we
is
need
it?
to water.
Where did you draw the line?
I draw a line that they're a volunteer nonprofit organization.
That's right.
And they're not responsible for any flowers that are on city property. And if they do put some in, we're lucky.
Oh,
But we maintain them.
Oh, so it's a lucky thing, okay.
Yeah.
I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
No,
And we have to water them.
I don't.
So I have one question.
Yes, sir.
I support what y'all do. I was able to work with y'all some last year for the Christmas parade. My only question is, we just passed our budget. Was there a reason why y'all didn't come to us during the budget process in order to put it in?
We were late. We apologize for that.
Okay.
That was nobody's fault but mine.
Is there any reason we couldn't tuck this in pretty easily?
It would just need to come from fund balance, it's not a budgeted expenditure.
don't think it's a big ask. I could happily make the motion.
Mayor and council, one solution, may be that if you allocated it specifically for some programs that Keep White House Beautiful does that are very clear benefit, that may help, you reach a consensus. So if you wanted to allocate certain funds for the fall and spring trash cleanup, I don't think there's any doubt that that impacts our community and
That
the
specific
city as a
use,
whole.
yeah.
If you wanna put it towards a very specific use or project that they do.
Mayor and council, I think Ms. Leslie is right on target. Let me know what specific things the money will be gone for. You know, what projects can you dream up? And I still say, putting shrubbery in front of the Welcome White House sign wouldn't hurt anything, and is keeping within public boundaries.
And the other thing, I guess we could probably look at changes the annual thing. I mean, if we're talking about using it for specific things, this would be a renewable thing unless y'all come to us again at budget next year.
And it does
If we're
bring,
not seeing the results or whatever, we don't have to do it every year.
it does foster teamwork, and it gets the community together. I'm for it 100%. I just want to know specific things that maybe you're going to do different this coming year. I mean, I can't, to me, it's hard to give you $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 and don't know what plans you got. Everybody has goals. What are your goals? What do you want to do differently? You know?
So would y'all be able to come back to us, or do you have the goals identified right now that identify $5,000 in projects, specific projects?
Well, I mean, basically, if you look at 2024, we're adding our 35-year celebration, we're adding, working with the EDC. We haven't discussed that with them, so I don't know exactly what that's going to look like, but that is what we want to do. If we want to keep, the city is growing, and we
Yes.
want to be more involved with the parks and, you know, recs and everything that's going on. How can we help in those areas? But I don't have a specific plan yet, honestly.
Can I say something?
I mean, this is basically a plan. You're basically gonna do what you did last year and add those couple of things.
And,
Yeah.
and y'all are updating your Facebook constantly on things that are going on, right?
Yes, oh yeah, Facebook and Instagram, I mean, every time we do an event or something's going on, we
But
show that. So we just wanna be more involved with the city, we want more of a partnership visually, financially.
Yeah, I
So
think,
that-
so something that's gonna happen pretty soon, I think before the end of October, is we'll have, Parks and Facilities manager, somebody that's actually in the city, that is a point of contact. So if you draw the lines at, you know, we get things built that are, you know, $100,000 projects, but we don't plant shrubs, that sounds like a partnership that they could enter into, and we could
Yes,
have that part
exactly.
taken care of.
We wanna be part of that, but we need to have a plan in place, cause in this heat, there's no point in spending money that nobody can maintain. That's our thing.
Yeah.
We're not going to spend money on
And all be on the same
something that's
page.
gonna die in a couple months.
And to this Edson's point, we do not have anyone on city staff currently that can maintain they're not landscapers, we don't have people responsible for landscaping, so we haven't had anyone.
Is there even irrigation available at that? Okay.
yes, there is.
Okay. And I'm assuming at all of them.
And if they're
Most
not,
of them.
the city's always been real good about fixing it. It's just like, Miss Corey, I fix to give you $5,000 out of my personal checking account supposedly. What list would you, I would go after that with like a hound dog, you know, figuring out what I would do, you know. But I like what the council said too. Give me specifics.
Instead of being out of money at the end of the year, we would have a surplus and we'd be able to do more community events. Our mission is to inspire our community members. So we're giving them signs and bags and gloves, that we're giving them the supplies they need to beautify, and we'd like to do more. You know, we want to, that's our mission, we want to educate, we want to do more and give more. So we just want to grow while the city is growing as well and be a part of that. We don't want to go away.
And just for the, like, what's going on, this is at a minimum what you'll do again in 2025, right?
Absolutely.
Where,
Yeah, I don't
where do y'all
see
meet
that.
at?
Right now we meet where I work at Proforma,
Okay.
horizon of the road.
And you're right, the city is growing. Things are different now than they were 10 years ago.
And just our membership dues have increased because our population increased. Our
Mhm.
dues are based on our population,
Mm-hmm.
so that was a shock to me.
How many
But you're
members?
talking about the dues expense to the state.
The Keep Texas
Yes.
Beautiful, to be a member of Keep Texas Beautiful, yes.
I'd like to see y'all go after more grants.
I would too. We need a member that
Yeah,
can
I know.
specifically do that. Right now, we're just struggling because we don't have enough volunteers or somebody.
I realize
But yes, I've actually have a contact at UT Tyler that works in the grant department, so she'd be willing to help us.
I wish you had 800,000 people. I do.
We have a wonderful community.
I really do, because I love the mission. I love it.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm appreciative of all the support we get now, and our community members are wonderful. And,
I would
we
just-
love the farmers market, and we meet new people all the time, and our goal is if we get one person that says, oh, I didn't know that, well, thank you, I'll go try,
I think-
Why don't we, I'm sorry.
Well, I got a recommendation from Councilman Lowe early on to table it. That requires a vote
Yeah.
to table it. So I'll go ahead and move. If that's everything, were you gonna suggest something?
I was gonna suggest something I think maybe could help here. With this being a minimum, we approved the 5,000 tonight. They bring this back to us next year with anything they added, a little bit more detail, and then we decide at that point if we wanna do the 5,000 again.
Is that, you still wanna try to table
I
it?
still want 1, 2, 3,
All right, there's a
4.
motion to table it on the floor. All those in favor say aye.
Second, Mayor.
I'm sorry, I need a second. I'm sorry. Any second to table it?
I make a motion that we,
Your motion is currently,
second the motion.
you firsted it. You can't second it.
Okay.
Anybody else want to second it? All right, so we're not gonna table it. At this point, I'll entertain an additional motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the 5,000 with these as the minimum standards. Bring this back to us next year, we reevaluate at that time.
Second.
I got a second from John. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no.
No.
All right, with that, the motion passes. We are on to, thank you, Ms. Corey.
Thank you, everybody.
Appreciate you. Mhm.
Thank you.
All right, on to item H3, discussion, consideration, and action of ordinance 24-0924-01 another dash, 2024, 2024-25 water, wastewater, and garbage rates. Sorry about that.
That was a lot of numbers.
One moment, Mrs. Black.
Mayor and council, as we were concluding our budget process, we received word from the city of Tyler that they would be passing on a 16% increase in our water rates that they currently charge to the city of White House to be our secondary water source. As a result of that, Jennifer Misleska and I took a look at our water and wastewater rate study that we had done at the conclusion of 2023 and the rates that you adopted for wastewater in early 2024. And feel like it would be prudent at this time to recommend an increase to the tiered water rates that we currently charge. This ordinance does include the increases that you have already seen for both wastewater and garbage, so I'm gonna focus primarily on water tonight. As you can see in the chart before you, our current minimum residential bill is $81.58. We are not recommending any change to the minimum water rates at this time. There is a small increase for both wastewater and garbage, as indicated in our contract with Republic Services. I'm sorry, Zach, do you want to say
Yeah.
it here?
If it's okay, I'd like to ask to be recused from this.
Yes, sir.
So Mayor and Council, Councilman Briscoe has filed a conflict of interest form with City Secretary Susan Hargis as it relates to his employment with Republic Services. So again, there is a small increase for wastewater and solid waste pickup as indicated in our contract with Republic Services. So as you can see here, the minimum residential bill will see an increase of $1.97. And again, there's no change to the water rate on that bill, just.
That includes both
wastewater.
of those increases?
That includes both wastewater and sewage increases. If you adopt the rates proposed before you tonight, for the increase in the tiered usage of our water rates, the average residential bill in July was 7,423 gallons. Currently, that would be a charge of $118.19 for water, wastewater, and garbage. If you adopt the rates proposed tonight, that bill would go to $123.42. Staff is recommending changes to the tiered water rates because those are the most discretionary usages of water. So we are hoping to minimize any impact on our senior citizens that is on a fixed income by keeping that minimum bill as low as we possibly can and changing the rates to our higher tiers. One of the things that we found when we were reviewing the water rates, we had some tiered rates on the commercial side that were being charged less than our residential side. So we're trying to kind of course correct that with these adopted rates. So in that you can see we are not recommending any change to the minimum commercial bill. We feel like our small businesses have been hit pretty hard already with inflation and increased employment costs. So the minimum commercial bill would only change again for wastewater and garbage pickup, and we would only change the higher tiers of water consumption. So the average commercial bill in July, which is 21,358 gallons, and would be roughly a $20 a month increase. We use July because that's one of our highest usage months, the one I had complete months worth of data for, so that we could give you, maybe not worst case scenario, they may be using more water in August, but it's gonna be pretty close and on the high end of the average of what they'll use throughout the year.
Remind me, when we approved the last increase, it was very minor, but it was specific just to commercial only?
It was for wastewater only. We
That's
have
right.
not
Thank
raised
you.
or changed water rates since 2020, I believe.
Okay,
Is the
Yeah, we've
last
been
one.
managed to absorb any increases that came in on that.
I remember it was just the wastewater.
Are there a lot of residents that just use 2,000 gallons or less? Really?
I think I do.
I think I do.
I guarantee I don't.
I think I do. Well, we don't have kids at home anymore, we
You
have
got a
a
hot
pool,
tub.
so.
So again, our goal was not to impact those that are just using the basics to get by. We wanna make sure that we're cognizant of that.
And this reflects what was the percentage increase that the
16%.
city of Tyler, was it 15, 16%?
So City of Tyler increased by 16%. On the residential rates, we're recommending an increase of 10%. So, on that first tier of consumption over 2,000, between 2,000 and 10,000 gallons, it's a 50 cent per 1,000 gallon increase.
And we're impacted by that increase because we purchase water from them.
Correct. And
So
we
not
have-
not every gallon of water, but when our water tables get low, then we turn on their spigot, and that's kind of where a lot of this comes from.
We have a well issue, anything like that, but we do have a minimum amount that we are responsible for paying Tyler just for having the connection.
Right, just for
fees.
access.
Because
that
their
rate-
infrastructure, they have to build their infrastructure in such a way as to provide it, so there's a
Right.
minimum cost to them.
Right.
Well, I think everything's gone up just like water and, all the equipment and everything else has gone up too, so.
Well, we're keeping pace with our costs,
We
so
are.
we're not.
Yeah,
Yeah, you get in trouble. You can
Right.
dig a pretty deep hole by not charging what it costs, for sure.
yeah.
Mayor and council, a less than 3% increase in your water, sewer, and garbage bills for this year, I would put that up against anybody else in East Texas.
I would too.
If you follow the news,
Yeah.
everyone else has had some significant increases this year.
You didn't feel like you needed to go up a little bit more on the commercial side? You think that was?
We have made some pretty, on the higher consumption end of the commercial side, we've made some big changes because they were paying less than residential, and so we've kind of course corrected that, to help make up for that. Because most of that is gonna be sprinklers or some of our high volume users, so it won't impact as many customers.
Any questions from council on this change? All right,
I will
hearing
tell you,
none.
we lamented over this change. I was really
Well,
hoping we could squeak by one more year without
I
a
think
change.
nobody's happy with an increase, but,
No.
I think
I
we're
think
keeping
it's
pace with cost.
necessary.
It is necessary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sucks, but it's.
And I'll be paying for all my water, so.
All right,
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 24-0924-01, adopting the 2024-2025 water, wastewater, and garbage rates.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. With that, the motion carries. That takes us down to item 4, discussion, consideration, and action on the 2025 charter review. Request for qualifications, RFQ for consulting services, and B, an overview of the review process. Ms. Morgan is back with us again. Ms. Morgan, please take it away.
Mayor and Council, this item addresses the 2025 charter review as mandated by Article 2, Section 22 in our charter. A review is mandated every 5 years to ensure that the charter remains relevant and aligns with the needs of the city. The current White House Charter was adopted in 1996 and has been amended 5 times since, so this isn't anything new. It's very common in municipalities. And you, council, have the authority to appoint a qualified firm or consultant to assist in the charter review to guide us through that process. City staff opened a request for qualifications from July 21st through August 15th and met the legal posting requirements for that. We received 2 statement of qualifications in return. After evaluating those submissions, city staff recommends that the city engage the service of the Bajorquez Law Firm for the 2025 charter review. The review process is anticipated to take up to 6 months. The consultant, city staff, and commission members will identify sections of the charter to review, amend, or changes needed. The commission will serve as an advisory entity, and at the end of the 6 months, will submit a report to you, council, for approval. If that report is approved, that will be before the voters in the November election. And then, of course, through the process, city staff will meet regularly with the consultant to identify areas that are needed and ensure that the citizens and residents of White House are educated on the review.
So we don't actually know what it's gonna cost, we just know hourly rates.
So when choosing a law firm or professional service, you're not allowed to choose based on cost.
I remember this.
So this is a process by which we identify members in the community, ones that are into reading very specific city language and loving doing that, so that they can take a thorough review of our city charter and find any parts of it that are antiquated or any parts of it that are missing. You know, something that we can make sure that we are a current city charter. You know, you hear the stories of people that have code that says if you don't tie your car up when you go to a bar, then you can get a ticket because the old code's in there for when you just had to tie your horse up. That's the kind of stuff that we're looking for, so.
Exactly.
It's a great process. If anybody in here is up for it, it's fun to be a part of. So when Morgan starts beating the drum for volunteers, make sure you answer her call.
Imagine your phone's gonna be going off a lot.
That'll be a good thing. We're volunteers.
Any questions for Ms. Morgan? All right, thank you, ma'am. All right, council, you have a motion before you.
I will make a motion to recommend the approval of the Bajorquez Law Firm to serve in the capacity of consultant during the 2025 charter review.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. With that, the motion carries. All right, we're down to item 5, discussion, consideration, and action on a water leak adjustment request for White House ISD. Ms. Jennifer. Ladies and gentlemen, Jennifer Lusk.
Mayor and council, when meter reports were pulled on July 17th, the White House ISD sprinkler meter at 406 West Main showed a normal consumption of 6,993,000 gallons for the month.
That's not
City staff contacted White House ISD and turned off the water meter. The ISD had a plumber come on site, and it was determined that the leak was present in zone 2 of their stadium irrigation system, and the water was leaking directly into a drain, which will explain why the water was not visible. The monthly utility billing was processed, resulting in a water bill of $44,501.18. A request for a leak adjustment was submitted by the ISD, and we had processed it with the same calculation method applied to all customers in similar situations. According to City Ordinance 19-0122-04, the customer will pay no less than the normal utility use plus 1/2 of the calculated loss due to the hidden leak. Staff has provided a copy of the White House ISD plumbing invoice, a copy of the meter consumption for July, and their most current consumption. Our calculation indicated an adjustment amount of $21,643.77. And given this amount of the adjustment, we believe it is important to present this matter to council for approval.
Any questions for Ms. Lusk? Thank you, ma'am. That is a lot.
That's unfortunate.
And you hear this, you know, it's Southern Utilities, but, you know, a water main breaks near the lake and it just goes into the lake and they don't know until it's pretty far along. So there was cost incurred by the city of the water that they consumed, but being good partners, I think it's a good idea to do what we would do with a normal customer and kind of meet them halfway on this.
Apparently they have a good drainage system there.
Yeah.
Wonder how it could be fixed to where it wouldn't happen again.
I think proactive notification is something that our system provides. Is it not?
When we pull the meter readings, then because this was not a continuous leak because it's on a valved sprinkler system, it was only leaking
But it was on.
while the sprinkler system was operating. So we did not get the continuous notification that we would
Oh,
say
right, if it was just open,
if it were
yeah.
open all the time. Is that fair and accurate?
I see, so that's how it dodged our
It is.
notifications.
And to be proactive, staff does have a different report, but it has to be manually run daily to try to help with this in the future.
Okay.
And I know our public works guys met with them on scene to help identify the leak initially and could not find it because of where the leak was and how the water was running. So it was not immediately obvious.
Sounds fair.
Are they on a regular residential rate with us, the school district?
It would be commercial rates.
Commercial rate, okay. All right. Any other questions from council? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve the leak adjustment for White House ISD in the amount of $21,643.77.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. With that, the motion carries. On to item H6, discussion, consideration, and action on a public safety answer PSAP request with Smith County Sheriff's Office for funds to connect into the fire computer-aided dispatch CAD system.
Mayor, I'm gonna step out on this one.
Yes, sir. Smith County employee, Councilman Lazarine, will be stepping out.
He has filed a conflict of interest affidavit with the Secretary of State.
Well done.
Mayor and council, I bring before you tonight another consideration to accept a PSAP request from Smith County 911 District. As you know, in past years, they've been very gracious and really good to the city. It was brought to my attention about 45 days ago that the county has the opportunity to finally add a fire CAD module to the Smith County Sheriff's Office dispatch, which is some 20 years behind in technology. So at this opportunity, we're striking while the iron's hot. This was not anything we could do any appropriate budget planning for because it's a matter of now. So approach Smith County 911 PSAP district to request funds for this project. And I tried to go in with them and be very realistic in funds to get us the bare bones for what we need to get operational so that we wouldn't have to bear these higher costs later. Initially, I went in with asking for right at between $28,000 and $30,000. They asked me for the scope of the project. The scope of the entire scope was about a $53,000 price tag. So through some negotiating, Smith County 911 has agreed to grant us $42,929.89 to our $10,732.47 contribution. That's exactly them footing 80% of the project. I do want to share with you that the other entities involved in this project received about 20%. So I think we're very fortunate and very lucky that we can hit the ground running on this project and have that kind of support from them. So I ask of you tonight to accept these funds from Smith County 911 District.
All right, any questions for Chief?
Mayor and council, I will just add that our $10,000 portion will be included in the budget amendments that Ms. Lusk will be presenting as the next item so that we can get that paid out of the current fiscal year.
Okay.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you, Chief. All right, any questions or discussion from council?
Yeah, no.
All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept $42,929.89 of $53,662.36 total project cost.
Second. All right, I have a second from Councilman Chambers. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. That the motion carries. We will wait for Councilman, hey.
He was listening behind the door.
Yeah.
All right. So now we come down to item 7, discussion and approval of ordinance 24-0924-02, fiscal year 2023-24 budget amendments with Ms. Lusk again. Getting an autograph from the chief, she'll be right with us.
She's adding that $10,000 I said is in the budget.
Oh.
Just kidding.
You may have a modified amendment
She
before you.
likes to have all of her dollars and cents lined out.
Sorry.
Good for us.
What you know about the budget, Ms. Lusk?
Just a little.
Mayor and council, the budget amendments provided in your packet are to adjust revenues or expenditures to show the actual costs incurred during the year, or new items not included in the adopted budget but approved by council prior to the purchase. In the general fund revenue, property tax, franchise fees, sales tax are being amended to reflect increased amount received during the fiscal year. Vehicle registration increase is due to the amount of renewals processed. The grants amendment is needed because we did not receive the motorcycle grant that we anticipated to receive. The interest income increased because of the amount of funds we had in the account and the interest rate for Texas class accounts.
Can I ask a question on this one? So our property tax estimates were 25% off, is that about right?
Yes, sir. So we try to anticipate about 95% collection on our property tax rates. That usually comes in a little bit higher because of our conservative estimates. So you'll see for the current fiscal year, we've budgeted right at that $3.1 million heading into 24-25 to get a little bit closer, as close as we can. That's based on the calculation rate form that we get from the state, and it's regulated in the numbers we receive from the county.
That's what I was thinking. So we're kind of beholden to those numbers. It feels like we're never gonna get that right.
Yeah.
Because we're just not allowed to get it right at first.
I'd prefer to underestimate
Yeah,
it
be
than
on this side of
overestimate
it.
it and spend it
Yeah.
every time.
I like the side of it we're on, I was just, okay.
Conservative.
Yeah.
I think we'll be closer this next fiscal year than we
Okay.
have been.
In the general fund expenditures, the miscellaneous expense has increased for the purchase of the Railroad and Hagan Road land purchase. The contractual service accounts in the general fund are modified for the single audit not being needed, unified development or ordinance project being delayed, work and mosquito abatement pricing, additional tree removal for trees that had fallen because of Winter Storm Uri, and the fire department communications project, which we will contribute $10,732.47, and Smith County 911 will pay the remaining $42,929.89. Overtime increase for the police department for personnel shortages, mandatory events such as Christmas parade, National Night Out, and other community events. The fire department for covering vacation for other full-time employees, structure fires, multiple severe weather days, fire prevention program. The motor vehicle line item is decreased for the motorcycle grant not being received. The tools account was used for taser purchase for the police department. Vehicle registration is a pass-through expense, which is determined by the number of renewals processed. In the utility fund revenue, the interest income increased because of the amount we had in the account and the interest rates on the Texas class accounts. And in the utility fund expenditures, the online credit card fees were increased for the amount of credit cards processed online and in the office. And this also includes the amount of the convenience fees paid to Tyler Technologies. The overtime accounts expense increased for public works call-outs, running the plants on holidays and weekends. The utility services increased because more electricity was used at city facilities. The contingency and lift station line items were increased because of the unforeseen additional maintenance and repairs of water wells, wastewater plant clarifier, and lift stations. Water system improvements was for the ongoing Highway 110 generator project, and the contractual services increased for the Wildan water and wastewater study and for the amount paid to the city of Tyler for the water contract. We budgeted for the base rate only, but did use water during the fiscal year, which was $2.23 per 1,000 gallons. In the ARPA fund, the interest income was for the amount in the account, the interest rate for the Texas class accounts. And the miscellaneous expense amount is for the Parks and Recreation, Shahan land purchase, and broadband and refurbishing the ball fields. Stormwater 2018 and 22 certificate obligation accounts, same thing. The interest was amount was being adjusted because how much we've had in the account. And economic development account, the 1/8 of 1% sales tax and interest income will be amended to show the actual amount received. And staff will be happy to answer any questions, but recommends approval.
I think it was the first slide, there was something about franchise fees. Is that somehow related to the firm that we hired to track those down? Or is that something different?
These are the annual franchise fees that we receive, but we do have the franchise fee audit, but some of the 21,000 that we had received from that audit is included in this amount.
Oh, okay. Those franchise fees seem to be pretty high. I mean, that's like a tripling of that. What accounts for that?
So one of the larger franchise fees in there is Encore, so it depends on how much utility is used, and their percent will depend on the amount.
Plus, we got Frontier now in town, which is a little different than the other.
Well, telecom franchise fees are a little bit different. They don't pay for it if they have more than one telecom utility. They don't pay franchise fees on both. It's a complicated calculation with the PUC on how that works for telecom that I'm not entirely well versed on.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for going back to that slide.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, council, you have an amended budget in front of you. Any questions or comments on the items? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 24-0924-02 FY 2023-2024 budget amendments.
Second.
I do have one question, I'm sorry, that was a budget surplus is what we're amending, as opposed to what was there. We came out in the green, right? I was just doing the quick math there. I'm sorry to trip you up with this question.
From all the slides, or like?
I know she knows the answer.
So these have, until we go through all these tonight, they are not posted, but yes, looking in the general fund. And then of course we have one more month of water, sewer, and garbage on the utility fund side. And so we will bring back all September next month, but yes, it should be a surplus, yes.
Okay, we started with the income and then ended with the expenses. I just want to leave people on a good note.
Yes, sir.
We came out better than we even thought. Okay,
Yes, sir.
thank you for all your work on that.
Yes, sir.
Do I need to repeat that?
Mayor, I can give you more specifics if you need them.
I don't need them,
Okay.
but if you have them, I'd love to have them.
So, Mayor and Council, year-to-date activity in the general fund, we're sitting at about $113,000 in revenue over expenditures. We had planned to be at about $156,000 in revenue over expenditures. And then in the utility fund, we are currently at $210,000 in expenses over revenues. But again, we have one more month of billing and bills that need to be paid. That is our highest grossing billing of the year. So we anticipate that we will finish with revenue over expenditures for that fund as well.
Yeah, it was a slow start with the.
It always is in the utility.
Yeah, it's
fund.
always
I get
stressful
really nervous this time of
because
year.
we make, yeah.
But we just had so much rain too.
I'll do my.
Sorry to interrupt that. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion other than what I introduced? All right, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. With that, the amended budget passes. So now we have item number 8, November the 5th, 2024 city elections. We have a presentation and acceptance certification of unopposed candidates for the November the 5th, 2024 election, acceptance of the order of cancellation, canceling November 5th, 2024 city election, and approval of ordinance 24-0924-03, canceling November 5th, 2024 election. And this is going to be Ms. Susan.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and Council, the item before you tonight for action does address the uncontested races for the November 5th, 2024 city election. Seats open for that election this year were for Mayor, Council Place 2, and Council Place 4. During the filing period, one candidate per race signed up to run with no one declaring as a write-in candidate. Subchapter C of the Texas Election Code sets the procedure to cancel the election when all candidates are unopposed. To do that, we must present the governing body with a certificate of, a certification of unopposed candidates, which I have done. It's in with the mayor. Approve and accept the order of election and approve an ordinance to cancel the election, and we do that because we call the election by ordinance, so therefore we must also cancel the election by ordinance. All documents were included in the agenda packet, and staff does recommend approval for this. If approved, the order of cancellation will be provided to the Smith County Elections Administrator, who will ensure that the order is posted at all polling places that would have been used if we had had the election.
Does this save us the expense that would be incurred if we hold an election?
Yes, sir.
$12,000.
Approximately $12,000.
12,000?
$12,898.
Love that.
Yep.
Okay. I didn't know I was fishing in that close. Yeah. All right. There we have it, council. Any questions or discussion on this?
Nope.
We have a future council person among us.
We do.
Ms. Francel? Hello. We'll be seeing you soon. All right. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the certification of unopposed candidates, the order of cancellation, and the approval of ordinance 24-0924-03, canceling the November 5th, 2024 city election.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. All right, that takes us down to item 9, discussion, consideration, and action on an amendment to the mowing contract. Mr. Jason, Mr. Wright.
Evening, Mayor and Council. The City of White House has been partnered with the New Creation Foundation for citywide groundskeeping maintenance since November of 2019. Throughout this partnership, New Creation Foundation has been diligent and effective in keeping our city grounds neatly groomed and aesthetically pleasing for our community. Since that time, New Creation Foundation has not pursued any price changes unless it has involved additional land purchases made by the City of White House. Now, due to increased costs, due to increased cost of the foundation, they've submitted a request to increase cost of service to the City of White House. The cost increase proposed is from $82,000 annually to $100,040 annually, which is an $18,040 increase, and that would come out to $8,336.67 per month.
Does this cover the property on Hagen?
Yeah, the one that we just acquired.
The new property.
Right.
No, sir. Cheyenne Ranch is, I believe, the newest one.
The newest.
City staff has been mowing property at Hagen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any questions for Mr. Wright?
So Cheyenne Ranch, you're fixing to start undertaking that? They're fixing to start?
They've been taking care of the entranceway to Cheyenne Ranch, yes, sir.
Okay.
The property that we own.
Oh, there's that little strip.
No increase in,
Both sides of the
I would
entranceway.
mow, okay.
no
Just that
increase in
strip.
4 years,
It's
just
gonna
about,
continue to
right?
increase.
Been about 4 years.
I'm sorry, sir, I missed you.
4 years since they've had an increase, just about, right?
Yes, sir, since 2019, they haven't pursued any price increases.
And Mayor and Council, given the length of our agreement with them, in 2019, I believe we did a request for proposals to get pricing for that. I think as we head into next fiscal year, we will look at issuing another one of those just to make sure that we are getting the best possible price.
Yeah, that's just my question is like, where does this fall? Is this a good price? I wouldn't know.
We need to be
I don't
doing
know
that about every 5 years, and we're hitting that mark, and so that is on the radar for next spring or summer.
I know when we did the RFP, I believe, for this, they came in way under what the other contractors were, and then they stayed there for 4 years. So I would assume that this is probably still a pretty good rate,
Right.
just based off of that.
I would like to add something to that since it was brought up. I think it's worth understanding the New Creation Foundation is also a rehabilitation facility.
That's right.
So they are able to keep their costs very competitive because.
They do a good job, don't they? They do a good work.
Yes.
All right. any more questions for Mr. Wright? Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Joseph.
All right, any comments or discussion from council? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve New Creation's price adjustment effective October 1st, 2024.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. With that, the motion carries. So item 10 deals with me directly, so I'm gonna hand you over to the capable Mayor Pro Tem, Mr. Zach Briscoe, to lead you through this next item while I step out of the room.
Okay. So, the background here is, Mayor, along with several other local leaders, plan to attend the East Texas Coalition trip to Washington, D.C. This trip aims to enhance of our city's position both regionally and nationally. The discussions held during this visit provide invaluable opportunities to engage with elected representatives and advocate for key legislative issues impacting our community, including workforce development, passenger rail, and meetings with Congressman Moran. The outcomes of these meetings and collaborations have the potential of significantly benefit our city by increasing the funding opportunities, influencing policy decisions, and fostering partnerships with other regional leaders. Building relationships with other local leaders enhances our ability to tackle challenges collectively, leveraging shared resources and strategies. So the request you have before you is airfare for $523.96, coalition registration for $379, hotel fees at $777, and other expenses for which reimbursement is not being sought. Travel from the airport, meals, and other incidental expenses during the travel. The requested expenses have been previously reimbursed when the mayor attended this event 2 years ago.
Surely we'll pay for some of his food.
Yeah, that's expensive in DC.
I think we should.
Yeah. And his travel to and from the airport is, because if he's flying into Reagan, it's a really inexpensive taxi ride. I mean.
So it says on here they're not being salt. Are they able to be approved for that, or would that be up to us, period, or no?
Could he turn in receipts?
Yeah, could he just
Yes, we
return
can
the
do
receipts afterwards? Okay. Yeah, because I think this is important, and I mean, I hear about this every year, and they get in great meetings, and they build really good lifelong partnerships with other communities and other leaders, so.
I hope I don't die before I see passenger service through North Louisiana. I hope and pray I'll see it one day, because it will benefit us big time.
So Ms. Black, if we make a motion, we need to add the addendum of the other expenses such as travel, meals to be submitted, or?
Yes, sir. So you could recommend approval of reimbursement of the following expenses: airfare, coalition registration, hotel, and any other travel expenses related to this trip if you wanted to, or whatever specific direction you want to give staff.
Reasonable travel expenses.
Yeah.
I'll entertain a motion.
For what she said.
Okay, I'll make a motion to.
It would be nice.
I'll make a motion to approve reimbursing Mayor Wansley for travel expenses related to attending the East Texas Coalition trip in DC, specifically for airfare, coalition registration, hotel, including taxes and fees, and then when he comes back to submit the receipts for his travel to and from the airport, and meals as we see fit.
Second.
Got a motion and a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
You want the gavel?
You tell.
Volunteer position.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor.
I mean, for
Costs
real.
all that money.
And I think he should specifically go to my favorite restaurant in Georgetown, which is Philomena, and make your reservation right now.
Bring me back a White House napkin, please.
What is the date of this trip?
If anybody has a wish list, please let me know. Souvenirs
I don't want
are
a napkin.
forthcoming. All right, that is the end of that one. Thank you, Councilman Briscoe. I think I might have sprung that on you a little bit.
It's okay.
All right, we are down to item number 11. Consider future agenda items.
Mayor and Council, I hope we had everything on this agenda that we had on our list tonight. I do know that we still have pending our IT contract with the city of Tyler. Jennifer and I are still reviewing that. I didn't check with Ms. Vargas before this meeting. She probably has a list of a couple of things. By the way, she's smiling at me. There are a couple of things that we need to take care of at the beginning of each fiscal year, which I know include designating our official newspaper, some of those housekeeping items. Is there anything else of critical importance besides?
We will have a presentation by the Ford Leadership Scholarship
Okay, Ms.
person,
Adams?
Lily Ford. So we'll get an update on, I'm sorry, Lillian Adams, I'm sorry,
Yes.
I wrote it down wrong, for her final project presentation. So
Her
that would
last
be-
name was Ford, that would be
That
scandalous.
That would be scandalous, yes.
She's got the Ford scholarship.
Yeah,
Yes.
that would be rigged.
Yeah, that looks like a great agenda.
It won't be that empty by the time we get there.
I can't wait to hear how they want to lower their price. Anything else from council? Any other future agenda items? Fall will be in the air. It'll be the start of our new budget, October 1st, right?
We hope fall will be there by then.
It will be. That's why I'm congested.
If the world stands, it will be.
All right. Hearing nothing from council, that's the end of that one. No more future agenda items. If you think of anything, reach out to me. So we're going down to item I, administrative reports. We're going to receive the reports from staff. Mrs. Black.
Just a second, Mayor. Hold up here.
And the reports that she's pulling up are something that's available on our portal. For the public, feel free to look these up.
When water sales go up, property tax revenue goes down. We will finish the year for total sales tax revenue. I believe we're just under $10,000 than where we were for the prior year. And if you remember, we did have like a $30,000 refund to a taxpayer, so it was about flat for the prior year. So right, kind of about where we anticipated.
Yeah, it's strange that we have this much retail growth
Yes.
and not so much retail tax. And I think that's something that other cities are seeing as well, especially our neighboring cities that rely more on their sales tax than they do on their property tax. We're almost half. We're getting closer to being half, but it was just a hard economic time for sales tax. You can see it in restaurants that are offering $5 meals again, just trying to get people out there and, actually purchasing things, so.
Give me a list of those.
I can think two off the top of my head, I'll tell you afterwards.
And I
Yeah.
can't, I have no idea.
But well said, So,
Yeah, we'll talk too.
And then as you can see here, our water revenue in August was down compared to prior years. We expect September will be a little bit higher when we get that billing done at the end of the month. Same for sewer revenue.
Just a question, I don't think I've ever known this, but does that reflect the billable water sales or what we've collected? Okay, so the leak's in there. Yeah,
Well, that leak was it was August, wasn't it?
yeah, that's in
Probably
there.
July.
Yeah, there you go. See?
July, that's right,
There it
that's
is.
why July.
yeah.
So that'll
They
come
got
off.
it was happened in July, and they got it fixed before August billing.
Yeah,
Okay.
Tough deal.
good catch.
The franchise audit has been really good, though. It's been good for us.
I think Ms. Lusk said about $21,000.
Guarantee you, that's money. Yeah.
Residential permits, let me look at this one for a second. I don't see any green in August for residential permits. Oh, okay. Yeah, the one just to your right of that graph, the residential.
It's on the residential there.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So is that right? It's not a single residential permit in August or September? Okay.
So Mayor and Council, I will say that Park Meadows has started clearing for their first phase, so it is very cyclical on that kind of stuff. They need to get, kind of some big areas done with infrastructure before they start pulling permits for those. So we do have some things
It's
underway.
amazing. Amazing growth.
And how many homes was that first phase?
I don't
It
remember.
was pretty substantial.
Yeah.
First phase, I believe, is the rental community, the smaller rental communities, and I wanted to say that's right about 100. But I'm guessing it's I can find that information if you want it.
Just curious.
We'll put it in our Friday updates. Garage sales were going strong.
Depending on a few things, next year could even be bigger with residential permits, possibly, with interest rates maybe going down possibly.
Potentially, I mean, it depends on, you know, their timing of that. They're trying to hit market too, and so that infrastructure installation process is several months. So trying to time that just right with the market. I think they'll still be in phase one for Park Meadows throughout next year.
Yeah.
I think Forestdale will continue. They're about 30 homes per year is what their pace is.
And they're close to finishing up in Forestdale.
I think he said about 2 more years if you count some of the higher intensity residential and commercial that he wants to do.
Oh, that too, yeah. Or on the residential side, I think they're close. Yeah, if you wanna have a garage sale and be the only game in town, do it in October, you know?
That's true.
Not true. Our community-wide garage sale where garage sale permits are waived happens in October.
Oh, that explains that. Okay, then you gotta jump in November. So the code enforcement reporting, how's that going?
Looks like a lot of high weeds and grass.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So one thing Ms. Hargis and her development department have implemented, they're kind of taking an area to focus on each month for code enforcement. So I believe August was limbs and branches that had been set out that were not picked up by Republic. So we notified all those homeowners that, hey, what Republic is gonna pick up, they've picked up, and so you need to take care of it. And so we had a lot of compliance with that during the month, and then September, I believe it's commercials.
We did weeds and grass.
Weeds and grass in September.
Yeah, I'm going through the permitting process. My shed was demolished by a tree, so I'm going through the permitting process to get a shed. And it's great. I think they're gonna deny it. But yeah, it's really easy to use. It was really easy to find. The only thing stopping me is I haven't settled on the square footage and a specific model of it, but it's a great
Make it
portal.
bigger.
Yeah, I would love to. I've got a slab. I mean, I can only go as big as a slab.
So do we know what code enforcement's doing next month?
We may do commercial signs next month.
Okay.
Yep, looks good.
Response times.
By the way, on the response time, there was a house fire down the road here, and I talked to the homeowners, and they said y'all did a fabulous job, so.
Awesome.
Down off Carla, I believe.
Carla Drive.
Yes, sir, so.
Chief Johnson, your response times aren't showing up as you work on that. For June, July, and August.
He's not responding.
You got there so fast.
It can't even be
It's
measured,
down,
they're
yes.
so fast.
He's already there.
Yeah, and I can tell that new pumper's being used because you can hear it all over town. That sucker goes, doesn't it?
I might not have hit that little save icon.
Well, you got your calls for service, so
Okay.
Yeah, just not response time.
just remind me and we'll look at it.
Alright. They're still good.
They're still really low.
We believe you.
That's great.
Chief, y'all are responding a lot more to first aid calls now, aren't you?
Well, I think the entire fire service
Yes.
and the industry is 85% medical calls, yes.
Right.
And, you know, it's gonna vary from demographic to demographic.
But it came in handy today at work, cause we had to pick up a guy, it took me and a couple of firefighters, so. Comes in handy having firefighters there.
Yeah.
Or medicals.
Boy, water consumption's down.
Yeah, it did go down quite a bit in August.
To be
compared
honest,
year
we had a
over
good
year.
summer. It wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I think it rained just enough. You look at 2022 and 23, that was when there was crispy grass out there.
Right. Yeah. vehicle registration is a wonderful thing that the city provides, you know, it helps out.
Did I go too fast?
It's hard to shake theft and assault, they just stay with us.
Theft should go down.
Because they're back in school.
Schools back in school, yeah.
Oh, I see.
Gotta be in bed by 10.
They're stealing,
Yeah.
stealing vape pens.
You hope they are, yeah.
And as bad as it sounds, 6 thefts is actually very low, which means good proactive policing. So.
Yeah, those graphs are a little bit
Yeah.
deceiving, like those tick marks on the
Yeah,
left
it
aren't
makes
very,
it
they're
look-
not very
yeah.
big numbers.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
6,000, it's
We don't even make it
six.
to 10.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Meals on Wheels.
So our Meals on Wheels, I need to ask them this, but just in case anybody knows, they're still delivering on a schedule, as far as we know.
Yeah, but their budget's way bad.
Yeah, they got
it's
hit
been
pretty hard.
crushed.
Like they
Yeah.
get, they're part of this region, the Meals on Wheels region, and that board is a regional board, but it's strange how they're set up. The entire
Once
board
again,
is made up of people from
volunteers.
Smith County.
You know?
Yeah. I'm working through EdCog. We're doing some stuff to kind of supplement the things that they're able to do, and it's a big part of. I mean, it's not only just providing meals for people, but it's also a welfare check. There's
It
a
is.
lot of times where you're the only people that they see throughout the week.
It's true.
So it's a really good service. I think we need to stick around.
We have some library numbers in there for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, there we go.
Thanks to Miss Nichols, she ran that information down for me.
We're working on, for the month of October, possibly on Friday mornings, spooky story time with Councilwoman Harris.
Really? I wanna make sure I remember that.
You will be scared.
It takes a lot for me.
I have some spooky stories going on.
They all involve snakes.
They do.
Yeah, that looks great. Any comments or questions about the August report? Get an income statement in your packet as well. Any questions on the income statement? It kind of follows the budget.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, we had a few adjustments tonight, but. All right, hearing no questions or comments there, we'll move down to item J, executive session, which we have none, so we won't K, convene. That takes us to item L, adjourn. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Anybody, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed, stay here. The time is 7:26. This meeting is adjourned.
You're not hitting it as hard as you did used to. I like that.
Yeah, well,
You're doing good.
I'm a man of the people, Councilman. Highly coachable.